The station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
You're watching DC News Now at 9.
And coming up, a shooter on the loose tonight after firing shots on the Capitol Beltway. What we've learned so far about that rush hour.
Plus, the new proposal to add metro stops to Georgetown and the National Harbor. Will the agency move ahead with its boldest expansion yet?
And more than a week after becoming legal, Maryland's marijuana sales are booming. It's bringing lots of revenue in. But where does all that money go? That answer in just minutes.
And good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for DC News Now at 9. I'm Tasmeen Mahfouz.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Flanagan. We begin tonight with developing news. Shots fired in the outer loop of the Capitol Beltway. This was a scene earlier today along 495 in Prince George's County. Police say several shots were fired at a car merging northbound from exit 11. Nobody was hurt, but according to state troopers, the gunshots were fired from either a black Maserati or a black Porsche SUV with Virginia temporary tags. Now, traffic was backed up throughout the evening rush hour, big backups there, and police are urging any witnesses to come forward.
And happening tomorrow, DC Council will vote on an emergency bill that promises to tackle rising crime. The Public Safety Amendment Act would make several changes, including raising the penalty for someone to fire a gun in public. It would also allow minors accused of violent offenses to be held before trial. The assistant chief for investigations with DC Police says holding suspects in jail will help close cases.
What's not helpful is when we do hold violent offenders accountable, is the courts let them out because our judges don't have the discretion they need.
And Councilwoman Brooke Pinto is sponsoring the bill, which is in part based on Mayor Bowser's Safer, Stronger DC bill. That measure is expected to pass, but not everyone is in support of it. Marielle Carbone joins us live outside the DC detention facility. And Marielle, that provision about holding suspects in jail, that's a sore spot for a lot of people who are concerned about the bill.
Yeah, it is, Tasmeen. You know, some of the critics I spoke to today, they worry that this whole bill is just reactionary and won't actually prevent crime. And as you mentioned, a focus point is on that pretrial lockup, specifically the impact that could have on children in the criminal justice system.
It really doesn't do anything preventative.
Eduardo Ferrer says he's concerned about the new emergency safety legislation DC Council is poised to pass this week.
I expect very little positive effect on public safety.
The bill would increase pretrial incarceration for both adults and juveniles committing violent crimes. A measure Ferrer worries is too broad and won't produce results.
Detention, according to the research, is counterproductive. It actually makes it more likely that a young person is going to continue to engage in behavior that we don't want them to.
This is an emergency.
Councilmember Brooke Pinto, who is sponsoring the bill, did make some amendments Monday, narrowing down the specific crimes juveniles can be held for pre-trial.
Crimes like homicide, attempted homicide, carjacking, felony assault.
Ferrer supports the change, but he says the bill still doesn't address the root causes of crime.
It costs us the same amount to detain a young person for a week that it would to put their family up in Ward 3 for a month. And so the question is where do we want to allocate our time and resources?
This bill just won't help.
Emily Casamides with the DC Justice Lab says council is rushing the bill.
The pretrial detention pieces, both for youth and for adults, need more careful consideration. There are constitutional issues there. There are rights violations.
And there are many other justice advocacy groups that are also against this legislation, like the ACLU, DC Black Lives Matter, and Washington Lawyer Committee. Among some of those, they worry that some of this pretrial incarceration will only increase the racial disparity for people that are locked up. Now, Chris and Tasmeen, this meeting tomorrow, where council is expected to vote, starts at noon. Reporting live in Southeast DC tonight, I'm Marielle Carbone, DC News Now.
Marielle, thank you. All right, let's get a first check on the forecast with meteorologist Damon Matson in tonight for Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb.
Yeah, and Damon, we are so looking forward to a sunnier day tomorrow after all the rain.
I know, we had just that constant attention with the rain and the storms coming through the area all of last week, all of this weekend, but Mother Nature is finally leaving us alone a little bit. We saw the sunshine out there this afternoon. That still bumped up our temperatures quite a bit. We did at least hit the upper 80s through much of northern Virginia. D.C. there at 89. Frederick even hit 90 degrees. So classic heat out there for mid-July. But here is where the difference was. Look at the dew points. Throughout the day, they continue to tumble down. We're holding on to a little bit of that humidity in southern Maryland with dew points in the upper 60s. That typically does happen, but soon enough, the upper 50s, low 60s, those readings will start to creep all the way across the entire area, and we will all be feeling that more comfortable air as we go through the night tonight and kick off our day tomorrow. So folks, this is not something we get to say very much in the middle of July, but you are going to be waking up to a very comfortable start to your Tuesday morning. Temperatures could even fall into the upper 50s back across the mountains of western Maryland and West Virginia. Closer to D.C., it will still be in the middle to upper 60s by tomorrow morning. But with that sunshine out there and that dry air in place, there is nothing to worry about. And you should soak this up because, yeah, we always do see that humidity come back into the picture because it is the middle of summer. How long until we do start to see that humidity creep back in? And could that also bring about some afternoon showers and storms once again as well? We'll have a full check of your forecast in just a bit.
Loving the nice weather. Thank you, Damon. Also developing tonight, Metro is one step closer to deciding on a major expansion project for the blue, orange, and silver lines.
Oh, yeah, narrowed down lists of proposals could include more silver line or blue line stations.
Yeah, so 4 options add stations in Georgetown and the West End. Our Daniel Hamburg has been talking to riders this afternoon about the possibilities. And Daniel, it's been an issue talked about since the beginning of the Metro system.
Look, Tasmin and Chris, people in Georgetown at one point didn't want the Metro here. Others right now, they want more access because you can't get here except if you're on a bus or if you're walking. A proposal in 4 of these options would have a tunnel right under M Street here. Metro has been studying the blue, orange, and silver line since 2019. And after 2 rounds of public input, the Metro board has a list of 6 options to review.
At the beginning, it should have been here, a metro station in Georgetown, because we have too many people, we have tourists, you know. I would be very, very happy to have one here.
2 options focus on the blue line, one which would separate it from the orange and silver lines, having it end at the Greenbelt station, and the other which would create a loop down to National Harbor across to Huntington.
I'd go with the one that goes to National Harbor. It seems like the one that needs the Metro stop the most. You could probably have MGM chip in. I mean, they're making a bunch of money off the Virginians and the DC.
The other 2 options would separate the silver line, one creating express service through Arlington and with service to Greenbelt. The other would extend the line to New Carrollton.
With the lines being switched for commuters who are traveling on the train, that would definitely help so there's not a lot of people. I know everyone kind of wants their room and space, so that definitely would be helpful.
Local businesses in Georgetown say they could benefit from a new station.
We already have a lot of foot traffic, but I suppose more foot traffic would help.
Metro is projecting a $750 million deficit next fiscal year. But today, officials said it's important for long-term regional projects to continue, even during short-term issues. Now, most of these options would cost about $30 billion each. Anything that would happen in terms of construction and planning, that process would take probably at least 10 to 20 years. Metro's board, they're going to be discussing it this Thursday, opening it up to public input on Monday. They hope to choose a plan by the end of the year, but again, that doesn't mean that it will actually happen. We're live in Georgetown. Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
All right, Daniel, thank you. And also tonight, a suspected DUI driver accused of hitting a 5-year-old girl and her father in Southeast D.C. over the weekend has pleaded not guilty. The 32-year-old woman was arraigned in court today. DC News Now's Dave Laval has been covering the story for us ahead at 9:30 tonight. In just a few, we learn more about the court appearance as neighbors react to the terrifying crash. And it's been a little over a week since recreational use of marijuana has become legal in Maryland. And during the first weekend, the state saw more than $10 million in sales.
And a percentage of those sales are supposed to be reinvested back into communities. Prince George's County reporter Yamari Sase spoke to a dispensary about the impact they want that funding to have in the county.
Well, since the use of recreational marijuana became legal, business is booming. And part of that 9% sales tax will go back into communities impacted by marijuana arrests. And dispensaries in Prince George's County say they're looking forward to building up their communities. More than a week later, and the lines are not slowing down at Marion Main Dispensary.
We're ordering probably triple the amount that we used to. We were anticipating a rush, but we thought it would kind of calm down by now, and it has not stopped.
35% of the state's sales tax goes towards the Community Reinvestment and Repair Fund, and that's for communities harmed by criminalization of marijuana. According to the state crime report, back in 2020, more than 10,000 people were arrested for marijuana possession in Maryland, and 59% of them were African American.
We opened our doors in a predominantly African American community, so we're excited to know that our tax revenue will go back to programming and that kind of thing for the people right here in our community.
Nicole Harrison works at Marion Main, but she also helps women who were formerly incarcerated.
So it's super important to be able to go back into the community, find those people who are directly impacted, and then do something about it. And we here at Marion Main are super excited about doing that as well.
And she hopes the investment will create more educational programs for people on all levels.
The way that I operate is if we can teach one and reach one, then we're changing the world one person at a time.
Now, we did reach out to the Maryland Cannabis Administration to learn how and when those funds will be distributed, but we haven't gotten a response back just yet. For now, reporting in Prince George's County, I'm Yamar Sase, DC News Now.